For sure. So the first thing is to pay attention that there is a number one law of the universe, and that is the law of expansion. So when I'm coaching entrepreneurs going to 100 million, they often believe that they can't affect outcomes in the way that they want to. They're like, well, that's up to someone else buying. And this is how smart people think about it. But it's because they don't understand there is a law of expansion. You are meant to have as much money, as much success as you possibly could want. And really believing that the universe wants that for you, I think is the first step. And then that growth mindset is so important. Like, believing it's possible is huge. And if you really challenge, if you absolutely believed that your success was inevitable, how would you invest differently?
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm Kristen, and I'm here with Alyssa Holbrook. Alyssa helps entrepreneurs and business owners scale to 100 million faster than anyone ever thought possible. A master's certified coach with 21 years of real-world investing, development, and business experience, she accelerates timelines, expands identity, and turns capable founders into sovereign CEOs who lead, execute, and scale with clarity and command. She's the catalyst for entrepreneurs ready to unlock their next level of wealth, impact, and freedom. So I'm so excited to get into it. Thanks for being here, Alyssa.
Happy to be here. So glad to be able to talk with everyone and share. Just real quick, my name is Alyssa Holbrook. I'm founder of Sovereign Coaching, and I'm an entrepreneur and real estate investor like so many of you. I've been in this real estate and coaching space for 21 years, and I've just coached hundreds, if not thousands, of clients over 8 countries, just brought on my 9th across the world. And I speak to the number one things that people are here on Investor Fuel podcast listening to and dealing with. So helping them make more money, get back their time, and live a life of impact and purpose. My goal is to unleash each of you to scale faster, and my mission is helping 10,000 founders scale to 100 million. So it's a big goal, a lot of fun, and the people that I interact with are going far, and that makes my job as a coach just so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really important topic to dive into because I think a lot of people expect to build, but the reality is scaling is a lot of what you end up doing once you kind of build the foundation.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So get into your background. You have a very interesting background. You started this very early. Tell us all about that.
Yes. So this entrepreneurial spark has always been part of my life. I started by selling $1 flag pins that were like those little safety pins with teeny tiny beads on them that looked like flags. And doing that and babysitting, I saved up $1,000 and I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I came to my parents at night and I said, Mom and Dad, I want to buy a property and I have $1,000, which felt like a lot of money to me at the time. And I think what's so fun about that is that they didn't turn me away or say that that's not possible. And what's even more fun is that I didn't think that that wasn't possible. And I think so often I see founders getting to the point of like being good and being satisfied where they are because it's working. And so we have some level of fear if this couldn't work. And I had none of that. And so I took $1,000. We saw what we could find, and it was this dilapidated mobile home with, the plumbing wasn't working, the electrical wasn't working, the roof was leaking. I took a loan from my parents for another 1,000 and remodeled that, put someone in, and then I rolled that into my second one. And the second one was crazy. It was there were all the neighborhood cats lived inside of it because there was a broken window. So when I opened that door, I just remember standing there and just smelling like total putrid, disgusting cat smell and being like, this is it. Because I knew the uglier it was, the worse it was, the more money there was to be made. And so by that time I was 16 and I could drive. And I just started, remodeling that, scrubbing the old milk out of the fridge. Like, it was very much built on my own initiative and hard work. And my parents weren't there. They didn't help me. It was just like my thing. And I just believed in the principles. And so, for me, that was a large scaling jump from owning no real estate and selling things for $1 to making, 3, 6. And then I compounded to several $1,000s a month. And that's how I funded my college.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So that was just because I kept buying more. So by the time I went to college, I had 4 mobile homes. And then I started immediately right after college again. So it was like being able to see the next level and see what's working and then go all in without fear on the next level. That's the key. That is how you scale.
I mean, that is so impressive that's like 8th grade. You're going in and you're learning how to remodel, you're reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's so impressive. But I think something that really stands out to me is the fact that your parents really encouraged it and didn't say that wasn't possible. And it sounds like that's what your mindset is. It's a growth mindset. Can you talk kind of to people who maybe didn't have that upbringing and maybe has a hard relationship with what they're capable of doing?
For sure. So the first thing is to pay attention that there is a #1 law of the universe, and that is the law of expansion. So when I'm coaching entrepreneurs going to 100 million, they often believe that they can't affect outcomes in the way that they want to. They're like, well, that's up to someone else buying. And this is how smart people think about it. But it's because they don't understand there is a law of expansion. You are meant to have as much money, as much success as you possibly could want. And really believing that the universe wants that for you, I think is the first step. And then that growth mindset is so important. Like, believing it's possible is huge. And if you really challenge, if you absolutely believed that your success was inevitable, how would you invest differently? And I'll give a few examples. Would you invest in Facebook ads? Would you invest in someone to help you clarify your message? Would you invest in the next, putting a syndication together if you knew that it couldn't fail, if you knew that it would work? And that level of belief in yourself and taking that inspired, aligned, massive action towards your goals really, really makes the pathway clear. And rather than just going in a bunch of different directions, you're going to see, like, when you set a goal that is big, not like 2, 3x, but like 10x, 20x, 30x, it really makes things so much more clear, and things will fall away that you never imagined that feel like the crux of your business right now. That is not going to be the actual crux. There's only 1 or 2 pathways to get to that 100 million. And so hone in on those and experience the discomfort of letting everything else fall away.
Absolutely. And I would love for you to kind of talk, because I think a big part of that is your relationship with failure. I talk to a lot of
Yes.
people, high earners like you, and it's not necessarily that there's no fear of failing, it's just a good relationship to failing. Can you talk more about
Mm. Yeah, I think in school we are generally taught that failure is bad and that someone else knows more than us, right? We have authorities, we have teachers, and it's somewhat is us versus them. And if we fail, that's on us. And in entrepreneurship, there really is no failure. Like it really actually doesn't happen. And you can kind of play with your brain a little bit psychologically to say, okay, I'm going to create a goal to have 25 fails this quarter. This is actually something that I do. I plan out whose podcast I'm going to ask to be on, what offers am I going to make? I just made an offer on a $20 million deal. And I put in so many hours underwriting that and making the offer and negotiating. And that particular one didn't end up working out. But it's like I learned so much. I didn't know how to evaluate 10,000 square foot warehouses. You literally are going outside of the state to evaluate that type of thing. And so the learning was huge and it just propels you on to the next deal. And so I think failure goes right hand in hand with massive action, which is taking action until you get the result, which is what makes there no such thing as failure. So that's my thoughts.
That's an amazing mindset. And I know that your specialty is really in that scaling process. Talk about kind of what
Sure.
holds people back.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, so there are 5 things that I see people being held back from scaling, and it universally always comes down to these 5. Whether you're in a different country, whether you're here, whether you're at either the solopreneur stage, or even if you have a team, like I've coached people with teams of up to 25, and it still comes down to these. So number 1 is your belief that you can and will succeed. I would say also defining what that success is and being able to measure that. A lot of the time, entrepreneurs have a rough relationship with goals because they've set them in the past and didn't hit them, or they are looking at the gap instead of the gain, as conversation. But when we're looking at the gap between where we are rather than the success that we've had, like if you set a big goal, you could be failing all along the way. And so having that belief that it will happen and that it is inevitable is something that you could work on every single day. I like to say, what is your belief that you will reach that goal that you've set on a scale of 1 to 10? And if it's a 7 or an 8, what will make it a 10 today? And I'll go into a little bit further. I know we're spending a lot of time on the first one, but I think it's really important that a lot of my clients, I teach them to do intentional thought creation. So with intentional thought creation, it's who are you? What qualities have you had? And what have you done in your past? Those all fuel and create that positive mindset for you to be able to show up every day, even when the negatives are stacking, because there are days as entrepreneurs, as founders, that certain things fall through or deals don't work or you're not making offers that are being accepted. And so really being able to come back to that intentional thought creation is so powerful. Do you want me to say the second or do you want to say anything about the first?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I think all of
So
those are amazing points. It really is down to mindset.
yes. And the second thing is a strategic business plan. So a lot of coaches stay high level. They leave you at that mindset. And that is not how I work. I'm known as the action coach. And I work with a lot of military guys. I work with a lot of people who are doing really big things. And these high performer CEO types really love to be brass tacks and like, okay, great. That is an awesome concept. And what exactly am I doing this week? And not just this week, but what about over the next 3 years? And so having a very strategic business plan where you know exactly where you're going and what the main vehicle is, like what your main offer is and your main pathway to get to 100 million is so powerful. So you want to have a strategic business plan. And once you can commit to that, I'll give you an example. I'm coaching a fashion. She has a fashion showroom in New York, and her goal is to go to 50 million in the next 3 years. And in order to do that, like in our first 2 calls, she got so much clarity that she hired a brand new showroom director. And when she came to me, she said, it feels like I would be curing cancer with the level of stress that I'm experiencing. But she said, and I'll read you her exact quote. She said, 2 weeks later, she said, I am feeling so much more clarity on where I want to go with my company. She had already made a new hire, her key hire for the showroom. And she had, okay, this is the vision, this is the direction. And so really my role as a coach is to help accelerate people's progress and get them there faster. So that strategic business plan is super important. And we pay attention to what is your zone of genius and then hiring everything else out, which leads us to our third, which is systems for support. So we know we live in a world where AI is prevalent and a lot of us are using that in our businesses. But I think when we understand how to hire, and a lot of the questions that people come up against is this on me or is it on them? Like, is this, I should be more clear, and how should I be hiring and who should I be hiring? And what I'll say is I love to create a boardroom. This is your A plus hires. I hired people in my company who have been the CEO of a company going to $1 million. She's my podcast editor, but it's like everyone on my company boardroom, all of my people that I'm paying on the daily to run my systems and all of those things, I want them to be those A players. And typically A and C players don't mix. And so again, it comes back to belief. If you believe that this would succeed, you would hire the team that would take you to that next level and help you scale so much bigger because they are more expert in their field. But that requires you being confident and secure in yourself as the founder, like to not be threatened by someone who knows so much more than you. But really creating that boardroom is what I see the smartest founders doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you're kind of talking about is the difference between creating a job for yourself and creating a business for yourself.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yes. Yes. And so I'll speak to that really quick. There is the difference between being a self-employed person, which most of us get into, foundership and entrepreneurship for the purpose of freedom. But when you're at that self-employed level, I'll tell my story really quick. It was back a little while ago before I had met my coach. I was like, I just don't see the way to go from self-employed or an entrepreneur to being a business owner. And what that process looks like for most people is hiring, firing, not having a capable team, trying to support the team while you're also delivering and thinking like my reputation is so much more important to me than anything else. And so I don't want anyone dropping the ball. And so they're constantly just stretched thin, trying to answer all the questions, wanting to buy back their time. And literally, I've had my clients say, if this doesn't work within 2 years, I'm selling everything and moving to Puerto Rico. Like that is basically where they're at. And so my specialty is helping people. And it's what I did, going from the self-employed place to the business owner place, where now you're seeing opportunities. You're actually studying your clients. You're the visionary, head of growth, making new deals, bringing in new leads, and really being the person who's overarchingly leading the team. And that's a skill that's learned. A lot of my clients say like, oh, I must just not be good at managing a team. No, it's a skill that's learned. And there's a difference. There's a jump for you going from self-employed entrepreneur up to business owner who has a capable team, and you're in their visionary role that you were meant for. And so you're in the crunch. Like in the place where you are, it feels like you're walking a tightrope and you're doing everything and you're capped. And yes, you are right. You are, and it's not always going to be that way.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I think that's a really important thing that you help people accomplish. I would love to
Yes.
going with the 5 reasons you're not scaling.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the fourth reason that people don't scale is time, and how they think of time is maybe the way that we've just been taught or the way that we live on default. And, there's that saying from Tony Robbins, success leaves clues. And I didn't fully comprehend what that meant until recently, but it's that universally, right? Anyone who's scaling it's going to be these 5 reasons. And same with time. So when you think about Oprah or someone who we really admire having the same amount of time as any of us, I like to teach this productivity pyramid, and it really changes how people see time. We could get into the tactics, and I look at people's schedule with them and get into the specifics, but for the purpose of the podcast, we'll stay to the mindset piece behind it, which is at the top of this pyramid, there is gold time. And this gold time, you cannot measure the return on. It's the time with your family, it's the time with mentors. If you have friends who are, millionaires, billionaires, doing really big things in this world, disruptors or thought leaders, like that is gold time. And you want to spend as much time as you want there. But right below that is your next most profitable time, which is called dark green time. And this is a concept that I learned from my coach, who learned it from Benjamin Hardy. And this dark green time, imagine your time being valued at least $1,000 an hour. That is that time. So it's when you're actually, speaking on the podcast, you're actually closing a client, you're actually making the deal happen. And it's the things that you can't outsource, right? That is your unique zone of genius where you are developing and improving yourself faster than anyone else. And that dark green time, I want you to envision, what are all the ways that I could be opening up more dark green time? And that becomes what you solve once you really recognize how much your time is worth. So how can you get on more stages, or how can you be making key relationships with real estate investors, other investors, or with agents as well? And so below that is your light green time. And this is where I see the opportunity for upside with a lot of the founders that I'm working with, because at this light green time, they're preparing their own slides for when they're speaking. They're doing their own underwriting versus hiring it out. I have a great guy I hire for $150 an hour. And it's like, that is such a good, you don't need to be preparing your own deck. You don't need to be, managing your own contractors, or certainly not doing any of the work yourself. Those are all things that can be managed out at that light green time. And then at the bottom, the least valuable is the brown time. And so if you're listening, just go through it in your mind and give yourself percentages. Where are you? Just high level, quick, what comes to mind? What percentage of your time are you spending in each of these? And then how could you create? A lot of my clients actually want to keep the gold time the same. They may want to be more present during it, but usually people do pretty well with that, taking care of themselves, their bodies, spending time with their family. Sometimes they want to add personal development or a coach, but the main thing where I see most people realizing that they could spend time is that green time. How can I be doing more deals, bringing on more capital, going on more stages? Let's say you sign up for TEDx, and you get on that stage and you're bringing in more lead flow because of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes. Okay. So that is how, entrepreneurs can really make their time work for them. And I do see a lot of entrepreneurs undervaluing their time. Even the clients that I've coached are podiatrists, but they're fixing their own printer. And I think that really does come from the lack of belief that if you spend your time on dark green time, it will pay off. And so we'll move to the fifth, which is accountability, someone to hold your feet to the fire. And a lot of the time, this is what people feel that they need, because they know that they say they will do something, but they commit to other people and follow through. But when they commit just to themselves, they don't follow through in the same way. And so that accountability could be very powerful. And with a coach, we can look at, if you didn't follow through, why not? And we can be very curious about that, because what we're getting at is your story on the world. Like, where are you believing that this is just how the world is, that there are just, quote, fires to be putting out? And really, there aren't fires to be putting out. Like, you can actually leave things for later and have some uninterrupted focus time. And that's something I see a lot of people working in their business rather than founders working on their business and really safeguarding that time with no interruptions. And I think it comes back to, your identity. And so that is what I teach, identity driven scaling, because your business will not outgrow your identity. It won't outgrow who you are and what you believe is possible for you as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really good point, because I think people get caught into the cog of just, doing the same stuff every day to keep the business going without actually having the intention to scale it.
Yes, absolutely. And you were on our pre-call, you were mentioning going deep versus wide. I think in today, we're not waiting for the government to take us by the hand. We're not trying to time the market in a way that we're not getting anything done right now. And we're not really waiting for AI to outpace us or anything like it. Right now in our life, I think it's really important to be willing to go deep, to say, this is the path that I am taking. And that involves cutting some things. I just cut something from my business that I would have never imagined that I would have cut. It was an entire brokerage. I'm a principal broker. And I just realized that is not the pathway. Me at my best is giving people that 20%. Here is the change that you make in your business that takes you to 100 million. And if I can just help them have that awareness and see that, and that's because I've been trained in that for 8 years and worked with some of, people going to 100 million of their own revenue, 100 million of client revenue, 14 million YouTube subscribers. I even helped someone go from a launch of 800K to 4.5 million just in one session. And all of those things are happening because I have the mindset to see what you could change. And once people have clarity, like I find that they are able to make huge progress in their business faster than they ever thought possible because they just need to know what to change. They just are so in their own business and their own story that it's impossible for us to see clearly what makes us so unique and then to take that massive action. And so that clarity and focus, you move a lot faster with a focused path than a linear path.
Absolutely. Well, I think you've given such good practical advice for people to kind of look into their business and see what's working and what's not working. A really good, I'm sure you have so much more knowledge to share. So tell everyone how to get involved with Sovereign Coaching.
Yeah, so you can book a call with me. For anyone who's on this call, I would be happy to look into your business with you. You go to Alyssa, Alyssa Holbrook, HOLBROOK .as.me/consult call. Or you can just go to sovereigncoaching.com, which is a lot easier. But I'm sure that we'll link both in the show notes. I just know that investors can go so much further and that a lot of the time they're not seeing the opportunities for them to take their business much, much bigger. If this isn't a jobby, it's not a hobby. Like this can make really big upsides. In 22 minutes, I just did a consult with someone, and in 22 minutes, we found a $2 million upside for his property. And it literally made the deal work when he had tried everything and it wouldn't work. And so even just a consult can be so valuable because I'm just here to serve and help. So expertise is worth a lot.
Well, that's incredible. I really, really encourage everyone to check that out and work with Alyssa. And where can people find you directly?
Yeah, find me on Instagram at Alyssa Holbrook Coach. I'm always sharing just all sorts of mindset and tactical, strategical, actionable tips for you. So happy to talk with you there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Alyssa.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope you got a lot of great inspiration and some amazing takeaways. Please check out Sovereign Coaching. Alyssa has so much value to give to you and your business. So we will see you back next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.